Let's talk about the secondary for the 2022 Georgia Bulldogs. What excites us? What are we nervous about? And what should you not sleep on? Let's talk about that here on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back. Locked On Bulldogs here on Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, part of Locked On Atlanta as well. Glad to be part of that. And today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline, your sportsbook experts. As Daniel told you at the beginning of this, we are talking secondary, which apparently is going to be a strength. And I say apparently because maybe, I don't know, these two hosts might have differing opinions. Apparently going to be the strength of this team, one of the best position groups in all of college football. Who knows what we're going to say? But we're going to talk about it. Again, as Daniel said, we're going to talk about what excites us about this group, what is making us nervous, and don't sleep on, which, by the way, I think Steph Curry is contractually obligated each time to give $1,000 to Nolan Smith each time he does this.
It's part of his NIL agreement. Yeah, I think it's part of his NIL.
Okay, that's fantastic. Hey, if you're over on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment below. If you're over on any audio, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, 5-star rating and review, subscribe to that as well. Easy to follow. It is free for you. So, Daniel, this secondary, which is just jammed full of people that are exceptional. And I say jammed. I mean, y'all, we got talent upon talent upon talent upon talent. The cupboards are not bare and won't be bare for several years to come, may I add, because we got all them recruits coming in. This year's crop. Go back and listen to my segment with John Garcia Jr. yesterday, in which we talk about at length about the skill coming in. So let's start there with all that skill. Daniel, what excites you about this secondary group for Georgia in 2022?
You know, there are so many ways that I could go here. But I'm gonna go chalk with my answer, but I'm not necessarily gonna go with the star of the secondary. But I am gonna go with the leader of the secondary. I'm excited for Christopher Smith's senior campaign. This is what excites me about this secondary. This is a guy who has been through it all at the University of Georgia. This was a guy that was just a fill-in, just a placeholder, like a oh no, Richard LeCount motorcycle accident. He's down with some injury concerns, and now who are we gonna? Oh, I guess we'll have to go to this guy, Christopher Smith, until somebody better comes along. That was the narrative that was spun. And if you don't believe that, just rewind the tape and go back 2 years. And that was 100% the narrative. Oh, well, this guy's coming in. Don't worry. But for now, it's Christopher Smith. Oh, this guy's coming in. So it's going to be fine. But for right now, Christopher Smith's the best we got. Well, let me tell you, Christopher Smith's the best anybody's got back there at the safety position. He's the best in the SEC. He's the best in college football for my money. And so I'm excited to see, again, he's not the star of the secondary because, you know, there's a brighter bulb maybe, but he's the dude in the secondary, and it's his team. And there's nobody Georgia's had in the secondary that I have trusted more to be the dude to lead that unit in a long time more than Christopher Smith. So that's what excites me about this 2022 secondary is we got the right guy at the helm.
Daniel, I love this. Christopher Smith is underrated by all y'all out there. This is a Christopher Smith fan account podcast since day one. We love him in entirety. He is the glue that holds that secondary together so much. So, Daniel, I'm going to hit you with a couple of dominoes in succession on this. Dan Lanning leaves to head coach over at Oregon. We get Shu and an old forehead vein, neck vein over on the defensive side.
Yeah,
doing
it's
the
connected.
job.
The
It
forehead
is.
vein's connected to the neck vein. I taught my kids that song the other day. So it's
It's fantastic. And Kirby Smart clearly being the head honcho on the defensive side.
Oh,
But Daniel, we have incredible coaching. We have incredible talent. And this year, I remember last year, we did a couple of double high safety looks in the secondary with injuries and with Dan Jackson coming in. Our defensive front allowed us to do a lot of things. But Daniel, I think this year, last year, our defensive line allowed our secondary some cushion. This year's is going to be inverted. Okay. It appears
here
to
we
me
go.
that Shoe was a little bit more aggressive than Dan. Dan was certainly aggressive, and Kirby's still aggressive, but I think Kirby's letting things go a little bit more with each successive year that he's a head coach. He's letting a little more go off his plate. Shoe's going to take a little bit more on him. He's going to get a little aggressive. And now all of a sudden, if this defensive line and linebacker crew that's been decimated by no talent and draft taking everybody, oh gosh, so many holes to fill there. I actually think the secondary is going to see a lot of, just like we saw in the national championship game, a lot of just man up, lock down your guy, run on the hip, be just like glue on him. And we're going to see some more blitzing. So you tell me I get Tyke Smith, Christopher Smith, Keely Ringo, an unnamed starting other corner, as well as I still think Malachi Starks has it. This is a little tease. Malachi Starks is the star. What? Watch out. Green over there. We got Lassiter. We got everybody. I think the secondary manning up is going to allow Shoe and company, Kirby and company, to dial up some more blitzes with some athletic inside linebackers that are young. Do you know what young inside linebackers, Daniel, what settles and calms them down quite a bit in a game?
Yeah, see, it turns out that there's a big learning curve when you jump from high school to college, right?
Yeah.
But the quarterback still holds the ball.
There it is.
And the offensive line still tries to stop you from getting to him. And so when you say go get the quarterback, your assignment brain is not thinking this way and that way. You don't have to worry about, am I out of position or in position? You just say, where is he? I will run to him. And
that's it.
And this is a beautiful thing.
End of assignment. I think I'm excited to see this Georgia defense get a little more exotic, a little bit more man, a little bit more aggressive. I think we're going to see that more.
It's a next level excitement. The secondary allows us to get a little bit more aggressive up front. I like that.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to come back, talk to everybody about what makes us nervous. But first, I want to let you know, Dan's going to let you know about BetOnline.
BetOnline is your online sportsbook expert, and they are the place for you to go to place every wager that you need to place. They are the official sportsbook partner of the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, and the only place that Clint and I trust to do all of our wagering. And so if you've got a bet you need to place, maybe it's on Major League Baseball, maybe you are, at this point, at this point, Clint, you can't even get a good number on the Braves to win the East at this point.
You missed it.
Because you missed that number. That number out there. She gone. But let me just tell you, if you bet on it, it still cashes. It's not as good of a number, but it still cashes.
Yes,
still cashes. And it's going to cash. Okay? So get over to betonline.net. Make your wager. First, make a deposit. Enter the promo code Locked On. Get a bonus on your deposit. Now you've got even more money with which to place that wager. And it's just like putting your money in an investment account, Clint. It's just like putting your money in a mutual fund, an IRA, something like this. Right. It's going to mature, and then you're going to cash it out when October rolls around. And you're going to have a nice little chunk of change. And guess what? When October rolls around, then you just take that whole sum of money, you dump it right on the cocktail party, and you got a stew going. Here we go. BetOnline.net is your online sportsbook experts.
All right, Daniel, what makes us nervous of the secondary? And I'll take the lead on this because there has to be some nervousness, right?
Oh, there's a lot of nervousness.
There's a lot of nervousness. And here's what the nervous. Now, we listed 3 guys that we will say bona fide studs in this secondary, okay? The Tyke Smith, Christopher Smith, and Keely Ringo are the abject studs of this secondary. Now, it still concerns me that we're relying too heavily on Dan Jackson. That concerns me, but it's not the most concerning because he showed himself and guys like him in that secondary mold, right, Daniel? We used him in that position, and I think finding those holes in the secondary might still be a necessity. But here's what makes me a little nervous, Daniel. Tyke Smith, who's the strong safety of this group, Daniel?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know right now. Tyke plays a lot of star, a lot of slot. That's good. That's fine. Christopher Smith might be the middle of the field guy back there, and he certainly has tackling ability. But what makes me nervous, Daniel, is who is our abject enforcer in this secondary? We got a lot of glue guys. We got a lot of man guys. The corner over there that we don't know, unnamed starter, I'm fine with because we have loads of stars over there, and I trust Kirby and company to find again, Keely Ringo. We can go down the list of people, Campbell, on and on and on through the years of unnamed, untested guy over there who started and was a stud. So that doesn't concern me. What concerns me is where's our enforcer in the secondary?
Yeah.
Where's the guy that's going to punish tight ends and punish receivers and punish possession and contest that? Assignment football, staying on, speed, never being over the top, never being beat, smart, savvy, breaking up passes. That all makes a lot of sense. But I'm a little concerned that we don't have that. You mentioned it before, that Richard LeCount type player back there. Again, Christopher Smith can tackle. Don't hear me say that and hear he can't. No. He can tackle and he can fill the alley.
There's a difference between being able to tackle and being an enforcer, Clint.
Thank you. I'm concerned this secondary doesn't have that, and I haven't seen that at UGA yet in my fandom, and that's uncharted territory for me, and that's what makes me nervous. It's unfamiliar to me.
Yeah, and I think that's it's similar. It's a similar concern for me when you talk about nervousness. Richard LeCount, by the way. I don't know if you're aware of this, Clint. Some
Please
newer listeners to the podcast may not be.
We need to inform them.
He will literally knock a man's head off. That's what he has been known to do. If you don't believe us, just go way back in the archives, read some of the comments, and you will find that Christopher Smith can literally, or not Christopher Smith, that Richard LeCount literally will knock a man's head off. Could not tackle Sam Ehlinger, but would knock a man's head off. Could do that.
Why you gotta do that to me?
It's not necessarily the enforcer position. To me, that is the problem. Because I think you start naming names. Let's name names of guys that when they're out there on the field, I'm not talking about you have high hopes for them. Okay? Now, so listen, Georgia fans. I'm not talking about you expect great things out of them. I'm talking about you know who they are and you feel okay with them out there on the field. Let's name those names, okay? That's Keely Ringo. That's Christopher Smith. That's Tyke Smith. Now, we have not seen it at Georgia, but we have seen it in college football.
Correct.
That's William Poole.
Yes, sir.
You absolutely know who that is, and after that 100%. National championship game performance, you feel good about him being out there. And I'm going to throw Dan Jackson right in there, Clint. I'm going to say Dan Jackson. Now, is he an elite talent at defensive back? No, he's not. But I feel okay. If he's the fifth best defensive back on the field, and there are 5 defensive backs on the field, I like Georgia's team. I'll just say that. If he's the 5th best, and there are 5, I like our team.
Couldn't agree more.
But then who, Clint? So that's my nervousness, is the depth of this unit. And people will say, depth, what are you talking about? We've got all these kids. We've got all this talent. We've got so many names.
We do.
But what have they done? What have we seen from them? What do we know about these guys? And so I think you've got a lot of guys like Javon Bullard, for example. We've not seen a lot out of him. Kamari Lassiter. I got some really high hopes for Kamari Lassiter. I really do. Yeah. Some really high hopes. We've not seen a ton out of him. Nyland Green. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's a bunch of There's a bunch of names that we could talk about, but they're all unproven. And so if those are my 5 when I start the season, which first of all, those won't be my 5 when I start the season because we're missing a corner. So
There it is.
already we're going to start the season and there's only going to be 4 dudes out there unless we're in a 6 DB package to start the season. I understand. But there's only going to be 4 dudes out there out of the 5 that I know what I'm getting. And then there's only one more to sub in when somebody needs a blow, somebody needs a breather, somebody needs to come out of the game. And so even if you have William Poole and Tyke Smith and Christopher Smith and Keely Ringo and let's say Kamari Laster, because that's who I think it's going to be. So let's say it's those 5 to start the season. You have Dan Jackson there ready to take a blow, ready to come in. If somebody gets a stinger or somebody needs a break or somebody needs or we go 6 DBs or whatever, you bring Dan Jackson in. But then we got to start to see some things from some of these other guys. And listen, they just need time to do it. They need opportunity to do it. They're going to get it. But I'm allowed to be nervous about it. And I'm very nervous about the depth, the unproven depth of this unit.
We're going to come back, talk about don't sleep on. But first, I want to let you know about our new friends. And those new friends, ladies and gentlemen, LinkedIn. If you haven't heard LinkedIn yet, let me tell you about them. Sun comes out and small businesses are back in business. LinkedIn Jobs makes it easier to grow your team. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the people you want to interview faster and just, hold on here, free. That's important.
Oh, no, I like that.
I like that too. Create a job for free in minutes with LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. That's just shy of the amount of receivers that Alabama was injured in the national championship game. Just a little shy. Then add your job in purple hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easier to focus on candidates with just the right skill set and experience. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires and versus leading competitors. And right now, LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 4D million job seekers visit LinkedIn. Post your jobs for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. To post your job for free, terms and conditions apply.
All right, Clint, don't sleep on. You teased us a little bit earlier.
I did.
And so I'm going to go ahead and start with you. Whom or what should we not be sleeping on this coming season? Maybe fans or the national media or other people are not thinking enough about this right now, but what they should be. Tell them, educate the people.
I'm going to educate the people. It goes very, very much in line with what you were talking about with the depth. We are lacking that abject snap count depth in the secondary. We are very, very high on the upper crust of snap count guys. The elite of the elite are out there doing their thing. But the middle class, if you will, of snap count is gone. Okay. And then we have people who are not very.
The middle class is dying. It's what I've been hearing. That's what I've been told. The middle class is dying.
Look, don't stop. People in the comments right now are freaking out, Daniel. Just to let you know. Thank you for that. They are. Wait, what did he say? What did he say? What is it? Okay, calm down.
Did he assign blame? Did he assign blame to that? Do I agree or disagree? Do I want to fight him or do I agree with him?
I hate this man already. I want to kill him. I just hate him. Oh gosh, calm down, everybody. Okay. We are lacking in people with snap counts. And so that's why I think this season is just right for the picking of 2 guys to potentially take over starting jobs from people. And the 2 guys are Bullard and Starks. Now, I don't know Dan Jackson. Look, damn good dog. Love him to death.
Sure.
But I don't know the war of attrition of a spring, of a summer, and then a fall campaign in which we are going to rotate people to get the snap counts. The top 3 are going to be there. And like you said, I'm nervous about the depth, but all of a sudden you give me Starks, who is a bona fide stud athletically, paired with guys who are in the back. That's why I still think Christopher Smith is going to have a The inverse of Richard LeCount. Richard LeCount always came downhill first. I think Christopher Smith is going to be back first in a lot of things that we're doing a little cloud coverage back there. But all of a sudden, you give me Starks coming in, seeing what he can do. He's going to get playing time earlier, I imagine. I think the depth chart allows him to. And Bullard, I think one of those two guys is going to take somebody's starting job by midway through the season. You give me Starks or Bullard, and if you give me good odds that those two guys, you give me them or the field, I'm taking those two guys to have a starting position somewhere along more snap counts. By the way, when I say starting, I don't mean first on the field. Again, I mean snap count wise. They're going to have more snap counts than Dan Jackson, than somebody else. Maybe Lassiter. I have high hopes for him, but again, I'm not sold. If you told me at the end of next season Bullard's going to have more than Lassiter, I'm going to be fine with that because that means he was the better player. So don't sleep on Starks or Bullard getting more snap counts than somebody who right now is listed number 1 on the depth chart.
I'll give you, it's a choose your own adventure, Clint. I got 3. Do you want mild, medium, or hot?
What do you want? Caliente.
What do you want?
Icy. Muy caliente, por favor.
All right. I think there's a chance that Christopher Smith might have double-digit interceptions this year. I think he might get up into the double figs. Okay? And let me give you some reasons why. I know that Christopher Smith, for his career, not a ton of interceptions, not sitting on a ton of interceptions.
No.
Here's what I think. I think there's going to be a bit of nuance in the coverages. I think you were just alluding to that. I think Christopher Smith is going to be playing a lot of center field this year. I think he's different than a lot of the other guys. Dan Jackson, Malachi Starks, Javon Bullard, even Tyke Smith, even William Poole, any of the other options that will be standing next to him. And that goes into my second point. Christopher Smith is going to get all the snaps he can eat this year. Mm-hmm. It is a Shoney's buffet, and Christopher Smith is just out here. He's going back to the dessert bar.
Far less salmonella in this buffet.
Oh, there's not no salmonella, but there's less salmonella in this buffet line. It's every snap that he could possibly want.
Yeah,
he's going to be out there on the field. Let me give you point 3. Georgia's going to score a crap load of points this football season. You're not ready for it, Georgia fans. You're not ready.
No.
But you better get ready. You better replace that screen door and you better buy some extra screen material because you're about to run straight through it. They're just going to be Georgia's going to score a lot of points. Do you know what that means? It means that other teams are going to feel like they need to score a lot of points. Do you know what that means? That means they're going to be throwing when they shouldn't be throwing. And so check back with me about those sack numbers this year for Georgia because hello, Robert Beal. Hello, Robert Beal. How you doing? Ooh. But I also think it's going to pay some dividends for a guy like Christopher Smith, who's going to be on the field and is going to get a lot of opportunities. Double-digit interceptions
once.
Correct. Double-digit interceptions, just to give you some perspective, would tie 10 interceptions in a season, would tie Christopher Smith for second all-time in UGA history.
Okay, well, so the bar has been laid, ladies and gentlemen, and it is high, is what Daniel's saying. Yeah. And you know what? You know who's right behind him, second line back in that prop bet? Right here. Christopher Smith is going to play in the slot. He's going to play far back. He's going to line up on some tight end that roams out on the side. He's going to come on down in the box. He is going to get his picks 100%. Completely agree with that. Everybody, this has been Locked On Bulldogs. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No.
You're good. Nope.
No.
I was just going to say the mild take is that Kamari Lassiter is going to start every game this season.
Ooh.
The medium take is that Keely Ringo will be a first-team All-American at the end of the year. Keely Ringo, first-team All-American.
Really went out on the limb on that one, Daniel. That was a.
I'm sorry, Keely Ringo, first-team All-American, as voted on by national writers.
Yes,
you and
I
me.
Understand. Yeah, I was just
not you and me. Yeah.
Everybody, this has been Locked On Bulldogs here on the Locked On Podcast. Your team every single day. We will see you guys next week.
See ya.